Top of the lineup is back, baby.
Ayo. Ayo.
Episode number 49.
Hell yeah.
We're almost to the 50.
Yup.
There's a lot of people out there, a lot of baseball people who are struggling to put content out. And I get that. The MLB lockout makes it difficult. But we're blessed. We are lucky enough to not be in that same boat because we are just flowing these interviews out like we're just getting the amazing
like it's bang
opportunity.
practice. Like it's bang practice. Ooh.
They just keep
like
coming.
That.
They just keep coming.
Yeah.
Sid Lacy joins the podcast today. Reedley College coach. Talks about his playing career, how he got into coaching. He does one-on-one training sessions, how he got into that. And we talk about life. I don't know if we've ever really done that on a Top of the Lineup podcast, but that was fun.
Hey, we're always ready. We're versatile. Okay. We're versatile. We talk to everyone. Oh yeah, he was ready.
I threw him a little curve. Just let it sit in there. He waited back.
Yeah.
Kept that weight back. Great interview. Dude's 23 years old, and I mean, he's just getting started.
Yes. And
bright future.
Bright future. Seriously.
I mean, we could just keep, pumping him up a little bit, but why do that when you could just listen to this interview?
Let him do the talking. You guys, I mean, I was just like Max. I was ready to run through a wall for this guy. Like I mean, it's just the enthusiasm, the energy. I was ready. Put me in, coach.
Yeah. I'm ready to come out of retirement.
Right?
Without further ado, here's our interview with Sid Lacy. I welcome Sid Lacy to the pod, Reedley College coach. What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, just another day. Like I was telling you guys a little bit earlier, it's usually a Sunday is usually my long days, having to deal with, kids learning how to throw the ball to, like I was saying, kids throwing 88, 90, teaching them something totally different. So like as a coach, like as a personal trainer or private trainer, baseball trainer, dude, it's tough going from an hour to, like I said, learning how to throw the ball to, to a guy that's throwing 88, 85, whatever. Maybe it's a quick adjustment. And that's how it is to life too, as well. You got to adjust. Never know what may be thrown at you. You got to, tomorrow's not promised, as we know of. Juan, tomorrow you may get fired and you may not know it. Right? I'm just saying, for example, dude, like
definitely
everything you do in life, you have to adjust. So like with these kids, what I'm doing is I'm a baseball trainer here in Fresno Clovis area in California. And I train kids. I well over 200 kids here in the Valley. I started about 7-8 months ago. And I love it. I started in the summer. So here in Fresno, it gets up to, in the summer, 105, 108. One day I had one of my kids, Justin Azarello. He was out there working with me 111 degrees. Wow. A day that I'll never forget. Yeah, a day I'll never forget. Why? Because it's that mental toughness that being 12, or he was 11 at the time, being 11 and being able to compete in 111 degree weather without complaining, without, oh, coach, can I get water? Dude, that's huge at that age. That's to the point to where it's like, that kid is going to be a beast when he's older. You know what I mean? You just know he's going to be a stud just because he doesn't give a, you know what I mean? He doesn't care. But yeah, dude, I train kids here in the Valley. I played over at Clovis High. I played in the track, part of a Valley champion, a conference team over there at Clovis High. I graduated there in 2016. After that, I went to Reedley College. I was actually first in the state, or top 3 in the state, for relief pitcher, closer, for the most saves. And that's out of like, I don't know, there's like 80 or 83 junior colleges or whatever in California.
Yeah,
whatever,
a lot.
Yeah. So if you do the math, let's just say there's about 10 pitchers on every single team averagely. That's like, let's just say 800 pitchers. I was the top 3.
Wow.
So that was more of like a not thinking about the future, but staying in the present. If you guys get what I'm saying, like
definitely
every single rep you take, don't take it for granted. Think about it. Like every pitch, think about the pitch. You know what I mean? We're not throwing it just to throw it. We're throwing with the purpose, basically. But yeah, I went to Reedley College, finished first, top 3 in the state. Then I was first team all conference in our conference for a relief pitcher, which is really never, the usual. And then after that, I went to Chico State for 2 years. And then I played in the WCL in Canada, up there in Victoria. I played with some of the top tier college athletes here in the United States. And I got buddies that are the pros, minor league system, made it to the bigs, playing for indie ball leagues, Sunday leagues, Luis.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, nothing changes. You know what I mean? You're out there, you're having fun, you do what you do. You know what I mean? But you're still competing every day. You know what I mean? You're still competing, and that's where the fun kicks in. You know what I mean? When you're competing. But that's just my little background about where I played and stuff. And there's, many rewards, this, but it doesn't change who, at the end of the day, you just work, you keep working. Even now, being 23 years old, COVID it opened up more doors for people, more opportunity, but it also, screwed up some things. My senior year, or when I was in Canada, we finished up and then COVID kind of hit, and it was like back and forth. Hey, we're practicing, no games, travel. Right. And I was in a whole different country.
Wow.
Families here in the United States, and it's like, I kind of got tired of it. Kind of second guess myself. Hey, is this even worth it? And, you kind of think about it. You sit down with your teammates. Hey, I got to go, that type of thing. A sport that you've been playing since you've been out of the womb. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Something that, because baseball has got me, I wouldn't be here without baseball. And that's the beautiful thing about sports, whatever, maybe football, basketball. But for me, baseball got me through life. Without baseball, I wouldn't have got my bachelor's degree in criminology. Without baseball, I wouldn't have got my associates, because with baseball, it gave me a motivation. It gave me a spark to get better every single day, whether it's in baseball or in life. You create friendships as well, too. So like Luis, Juan, like we'll be buddies too. You guys are great people as well. So
yeah,
like the baseball community brings people together. You know what I mean? So, and a crazy fun fact, dude, I don't watch baseball.
Wow.
Oh.
I don't watch baseball. So like, I know your Tim Lincecums, Max Scherzer, Juan Soto, but I was never the type of dude. That's a fun fact, because you guys are probably going to answer, I just never really got into baseball like that. So like majority of your baseball guys, like 95% of them, they're dialed in. They're watching the game. They're watching the World Series. They're catching up with stats and stuff. All these Dominicans getting in the league and stuff. But for me, dude, I just played the game. I literally just played the game, and I took the bull by the horns, and we just let it rock. You know what I mean? I got my reps in. I worked hard, and it rewarded me. It's like I would never change a thing. I would never change anything in the past, because it's led me to this. It's led me to you guys. It's led me to 200 plus of my kids as well, too. So I rather teach the game, so that my kids can get to my athletes can get to the next level, rather than one person, which was me. Because without me, they wouldn't get the guidance that they're getting right now as well. So
that's man, I love that. I mean, I could touch on everything that you just said.
Literally,
I mean,
literally,
because that leads to like our last question you usually ask, but I'm not gonna. We'll touch on it later. But I
he
think
answered it already.
That's the last.
Yeah, but that fun fact, when you're grinding it out 24/7, it's kind of hard to watch baseball because you're doing it, right? You're playing it, you're coaching it, right? I totally get that. That's a fun fact though. I like that.
Our good buddy, we had a good buddy that same thing. He played with us all through high school, and he never really watched. He would know your big names, but same thing. He would just play, and he was good. And talking about Gabe, I'm sure he's listening.
Oh yeah.
But he never really watched it. Never really wasn't his thing, and that's cool. I think what's really special about baseball is there's so many different like minor communities, right? You could talk about player development, there's coaching, there's the fan aspect, there's the statistics side of it. I mean, there's so many little baseball communities within this whole umbrella of baseball, and that's what makes it for us magical. Because I mean, we could talk to you today, and then tomorrow we could talk to some crazy Harvard statistician, right? And still get just as much information, just in a different platform.
Right.
I mean, that's what's amazing for me.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, just the baseball community, you touched on it, right? Like, we're all in this together, and I love the fact that there's so many different levels, and you can have fun at every single level. You know what I mean? Like, that's the beauty about baseball. It doesn't matter what level you play at, you still get to compete, and most of all, you have fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Juan and Luis, you guys are spot on. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't. Sunday leagues, dude, you can go until you're 60 years old and just go out there on a Sunday or a weekend, whatever it may be, crack open a couple beers and let's play. You know what I mean? It's not all about, that's the one thing that baseball, and that's, Juan, you touched on it. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to bring something to the game that's totally unique. You know what I mean? I wasn't your statistics guy. I wasn't your analytics. Like, all right, this is what we got to do. This isn't. I just went out there. Let's play, dude. Let's do. I've been doing it for so long. Let's just do it. The more you think about something, that's when your mind starts screwing up. Like I was telling these kids, not sorry to cut you guys off or whatever.
No, you're good.
I was telling my kids or my athletes, I don't like to say kids, my athletes, I was like, so you guys been walking for a long period of time. You guys been breathing for a long period of time. Every day, you don't wake up and when you're walking, you're not, okay, right, left, turn right, turn left, go forward, do this, do that, right? Same thing with breathing, Luis and Juan. You're not like, okay, I gotta breathe. I gotta say this. Nothing, right? Your mind tells you, right? Your mind is going to control your body. So when you're doing these mechanics and you're practicing good habits, right? And you're thinking about what you're doing and not doing it just to do it. And then let's just say you hop on the mound, right? The more consistent and good habits you were doing, don't tell your mind to do it. A lot of kids get nervous when they're on the mound. Even at the high level, they get nervous for what? You've been doing it for so long, right? Don't try to tell your mind to do something. Get in this spot. Get out front. Do this on your curveball. Your mind is going to tell you. Your mind is going to control your body, and it's just going to do it on its own. And I think that's one of the biggest things too. Like, I get a lot of, my son's, mental, this is this. And then it's like, well, he just needs to feel comfortable. He needs to just play and not worry about or think about, if I do this, coach is going to pull me. All right. So coach pulls you. What you do, coach pulls you, you sit down, you think about what you did. That way, once you get your next rep or whatever, your next opportunity, we're dialed in. We're ready to roll. You know what I mean? That's how you take advantage of opportunities. But yeah, just a little brief on that. If you guys kind of got what I was saying right there, don't force your mind to, you know what I mean, to get to a certain spot. Let your mind take over your body because you've done it for so long. You know what I mean? So
I feel that 100%. I think, as a hitter, I went through a point of time where I was struggling because it was just my mental that was struggling. And, you know, when you get to a certain age, pitching gets better, right? And I remember just thinking like, all right, lay that curveball off. That curveball is going to be in the dirt. Don't swing at that curveball in the dirt. And I was focused so much on that pitch that, you know, a fastball that would be in the zone, I would be missing it because I was so focused on that curveball that I wasn't ever going to hit. And then when I would get that curveball, you know, then I would swing and miss it. It's just like, I mean, you just go into a loop. And I like the different coaching aspects. You know, there are guys that are very, you know, let's talk about the mechanics, let's talk about the mental. And then there's some that it's just like go out and do it. And it's a balance of both, really. That again, another amazing thing about this sport.
Yeah, and like just touching on that, like I think the most common thought through every hitter's head is don't strike out. Don't strike out. Don't strike out. Don't strike out. And
do anything
it's
okay,
yeah, anything,
Luis, right? But Luis, hold on, stay on that point though. Don't strike out. Don't strike out. Why? Why? No, now tell me why. Because who are they worried about?
Their parents. They're worried about the coach. They're worried about being the reason why they lost. I mean, the list could go on, right? I don't know. There's that why behind it. Literally, if you think about it, it's all imaginative thought. You're thinking of, oh, I'm gonna disappoint my parents. I'm gonna disappoint my team. Dude, this is a team sport. Your boy behind you is gonna fucking cover you if you strike out. You know what I mean? Like it's so crazy. I for a split second today, right? 4 years haven't played baseball. I'm like, don't strike out. And then I stepped down. I'm like, dude, why does it matter? Why? Like, come on. I used to tell my players when I was coaching, when you go up to the box, have confidence, be relaxed, and concentrate. Confidence, relaxation, concentration. Those are the three things that you got to go. You have to have the confidence, believe in yourself. Hey, I'm going to get a hit. Relax. If you're uptight, you know what I mean? Like things happen. Maybe you roll over. You gotta be relaxed. That concentration piece. Hey, maybe you're dialed in. You're focusing on where the ball, the velocity of the ball, the spin of the ball. You got to be concentrated. So that's why you should tell my players is like, hey, if you don't have those three things, it's going to be kind of hard, especially that confidence piece. I think confidence is truly important. It also goes into that mental aspect, right? Hey, don't strike out. Well, why? Like if you're confident enough, you don't even have to think about that. That's a second thought, right? Yep. Exactly.
Absolutely. Hey, who do you guys got for Super Bowl?
Oh,
that's
I know it's baseball, but
no, it's all good. It's all good. Hey,
we talk a little
podcast, you know. We talk.
We got the freedom to talk about anything, baby.
Hell yeah. You know, I think Juan doesn't want the Rams to win, and because I think it's because you're a Raiders fan, right?
I am a Raiders fan.
He wants to be the only NFL team to win a Super Bowl in LA. Like that's the Raiders. That's their thing. If the Chargers win, that's another team in LA has won a Super Bowl. But
are you a Charger guy?
No. I'm a 49ers guy. I'm a Niners fan. But I'm going Bengals, man. I'm going Bengals. I think it's just the momentum that they have. The Rams have literally just been picking and pulling every game, and the Bengals, like they've had some serious upsets, but like it's almost like you're not surprised, really. So I'm going Bengals.
The new era of football.
Mm-hmm.
Bouncing off of that 100%, the Bengals, their culture, their just the way they go together. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're good. They're the ones for sure.
They're just like speaking about how we're talking about just kind of being relaxed or comfortable. Relaxed, comfortable. If you have the talent, you're gonna win.
You don't see the pressure with them.
Yeah, Joe Burr, dude, man.
Yeah,
nasty, dude.
That guy, ice in his veins, man. Like he's just like in those interviews, like, yeah, I mean, I just did it. You know, it's just like what? You know, like how? Oh,
and
man.
that's the thing. Like going back towards baseball a little bit. Like as a coach, like, okay, Joe said, all right, he just does it, right? That's what separates a lot of these kids. Looking up highlights, looking up mechanics. Let's use Max Scherzer, for example. Looking at Max Scherzer's mechanics. Max Scherzer's totally built different. Max Scherzer has a totally different mindset. Max Scherzer is the only one that fills his shoes. Max Scherzer probably doesn't give a, you know what I mean? He doesn't care. But let's just say for another kid, like everybody, like for example, I was working with the kids today. He's from El Diamante out of Visalia. His name's Colin. He's a freaking beast. He's a left-handed pitcher, right? He's a left-handed pitcher, and he has the old school windup.
Love that.
And I was like, dude, you know what? I was like, I am surprised nobody's tried to switch you because it's not normal, right? That's not the normal way to throw now. You know what I mean? But it just zips right in there. And what you do is you just tell these kids, hey, learn from your adjustments, make adjustments, in-game adjustments, right? So if you missed outside, hey, outside to a right, you came off your left eye, you threw the ball off your left eye instead of down your nose. If you're finishing down your nose on your fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, two-seam, knuckle, all that, same exact pitch, you're going to get the movement. Don't force the movement, because once you start forcing the movement, that's when you start yanking your curveball, right? That's when you overpronate on your changeup. And you can go the whole nine about it, but yeah, just a little piece about that.
That's kind of crazy too. I'm thinking about it. Like when I was pitching, I was a overhead pitcher, right? That was my windup. And one of my coaches, he's like, "Why are you doing that? You're gonna get tired doing, every pitch you're throwing, you're getting tired." And I just thought about it like that was me. Like I felt comfortable doing that, and I found myself struggling changing my windup and kind of assimilating to his pitching culture, not necessarily being myself, right? And I think I'm glad you touched on that because, we are in a day and age where analytics is key, right? And
right.
You basically want players to be robots, but when you look at Tatis and you look at all these new players, like they're themselves, and the reason why they're at that stage is because they were themselves. Yeah, you make many adjustments, but if you're not being yourself and it's just not going to pan out. And that's something that I finally realized is like, damn, a lot of my adjustments like that I made for my coaches affected me and I didn't see the long-term improvement because I wasn't confident enough in myself. I was more focused on my wind-up or more focused on how I get set, or even when I load, I'm hitting, than the actual, like, just being myself and being comfortable,
Right.
So kudos to you to like like identifying that like his windup is like an old school windup, but also just like letting him be himself. Like it's important.
Yeah, I talked to him today, and what I noticed, he kept looking at me to see if I would say anything. No, dude, roll with it. You're pumping strikes. What do we need to change? If it's broke, don't fix it. Right? As you guys know, in any sport, why fix it? What we're going to do, we're going to work off of that. We're going to give you a better load. We're going to give you a better drive. We're going to keep you more stacked, right? I'm going to show you what your body can do while being in that old school windup. Being in that old school windup, you're showing me that you have more mobility in your hips, right? So if you have more mobility in your hips, you're going to have, like I said, that better drive and that torque, right? A lot of these kids don't know what torque means and they're in college. You know what I mean? So it's like torque is pretty much like the rotation, whatever, maybe in your hips, or your core, feeling it tight, feeling like a rubber band, right? The more you expand the rubber band, the tension, that you want more tension in your body. That way you can just let the ball zip off. That's why you see a lot of these Dominicans getting signed when they're 16. Just the work ethic. They're training right now. They train literally every day to get out of the struggle that they're in right now. They have no choice but to work. And I think that's what separates. That's why you see a lot of Dominicans getting signed and taking these Americans' jobs, because they have more work ethic. They have a better drive. And it sucks to say that because I am American, but it's facts. It is what it is. They just have a better work ethic. Do they have a full-on facility? Do they have a full-on trainers? Do they have full-on this? Do they have a full funding? Are their parents sending them to school? Are they going to private schools? Hell no. They know how to get the job done. And that's what it comes down to. Can you get the job done? Every pitch, every hit, right? Not thinking about it. having short-term memory and just wanting every pitch. So
it's a different age. It is a different age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you kind of.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Juan. No, I think just kind of adding to that, just the Dominican side. I always cut you off for some reason. Literally every episode, we always cut each other off. But just touching on the Dominican side, like it is crazy. My high school coach, he would go every year, right? We donate bats and gloves and stuff like that, and they're so appreciative just like having that material. But like they're using bottle caps, right? They're using sticks to hit, and it's kind of crazy. We interviewed baseball dad last month.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he sent his boys to the Dominican just so they can be humbled and see like, hey, like you look at the struggle, like look at how again their work ethic, look at how they are. And I think it's awesome to see that, because it's different. Like their work ethic is completely different. I mean,
Right.
Here in the States, it's like you go to school, you get your lunch, you get off, mom and dad pick you up. Yep, they pick you up, prep you for practice, right? And it's just, that's not the case. Some of these kids are walking to the baseball field miles away. It's crazy. So I just had to add that, because like that's something that I admire so much. Work ethic is important, regardless of baseball and just anything in general. Work ethic is important, and it's just kind of crazy to see that these kids, I mean, in reality, have a better work ethic than I do sometimes. You know what I mean? So
same.
Yeah.
No, everybody has different goals, though, Luis.
That is true.
Good point.
I love that.
Good point. Different motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different reasons why they're doing what they're doing in anything, and not just baseball, but just in life in general. You touched on, their struggles, right? They're trying to get out of that struggle. They're trying to not just help themselves, but their family. And it's bigger than themselves. It's bigger than baseball. It's a lot of the times it's, the only thing they got, unfortunately. Yep. But one of the things I want to touch on, kind of circling back, you had mentioned, one session you might be working with maybe a 7-year-old who's just kind of learning how to, squash the bug, or, reach around his body. Right. And then your next session, you're dealing with a high schooler who's trying to develop velocity. How do you make the adjustment from going from one to another in such a quick, short time?
Preparation. You gotta be. So how I do that, I lay out a whole entire plan before that day even comes. That way, okay, let's just say, all right, I got Bob, right? Bob's a 7-year-old kid. We're learning how to throw, right? Then we got Henry's up next. Got a 17-year-old kid. Okay, he wants to learn to use his lower half properly, right? He wants to correlate his lower half into his upper half. So it's things like that where you just have to mentally prepare. So if you're mentally prepared going into something, so like say you study for a test for weeks, you're gonna go in that test comfortable, right? You're gonna feel dialed in. So for me, as if just being around the game for so long and having a plan B is very important. Say I don't have my little sheet where I have everything jotted down. Okay, this is what this person's gonna work on. I already have drills usually laid out. I usually have the time frame of how long I want to work with them for. But hey, if I don't have that, you got to whip something up. But being around the game for so long, and being always in certain situations, you got to learn how to adjust. Like you're talking about a little bit, learning how to adjust and get these kids to where they need to be quickly. But like from going like a kid that needs to learn how to throw, whatever, to a kid that's learning how to, wanting to throw a little bit harder, add more velocity. That's something where as a coach, you have to be mentally prepared. Every coach should have a practice plan before practice. Starting in the morning, practice plan, ready to roll. That way, you can mentally prepare. So that's how I go about my training. I mentally prepare throughout the whole entire day. That way I know how to line up. But like the physical part too, because I catch my guys. I don't have a catcher out there. I do have a 9-pocket hole, so like the little pitching nets. That way, if guys are kind of spicing in there, or I have multiple guys, you know what I mean, and you have to adjust a certain way. I have that for just in case. But I like to catch these guys that way I can see the release point. See, a lot of these pitching coaches, they'll stand behind. No, I'm standing right in front. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see his front side. Do you think you'd be able to see his front side by standing in the back of him? Probably not. You know what I mean? You could probably see where a little glimpse, but if you're catching it, you're getting the full effect. You know what I mean? I think angles really matter. That's just you have to learn. You just can't go out there, all right, I want to coach kids. I want to train kids. You have to be ready for that. You have to be made and created for that. Nobody can just, all right, let's go coach tennis. That's like, all right, let me just go coach tennis. I see a lot of dads out here, oh, I'm a pitching coach now. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you're a pitching coach. It's like, dude, what you know what I mean? Like, come on now. You want the best for these athletes. You want to get them to a high level. But Juan, kind of going back to what your question about a kid learning how to throw and then the velocity part, just getting mentally prepared, having a game plan beforehand, making a quick, okay, he's done. All right, let's move on. Once you shake the parent's hand, they did good today, kind of break it down. All right, next guy. And then that mental that just flips, boom. And then here we go, especially with people that been working with you for a while since you started. You kind of know they know that they're in that routine. So it's like you play catch with the football. I know I was listening a little bit about the podcast about that dude 2 weeks ago. I think he's your Santa Barbara City.
Max Greenfield.
Yeah. See, that dude's very analytical. You could just tell how he speaks. He's very analytical, which is awesome. Good coach to have on your roster or on your coaching staff. But yeah, I mean, just making that mental adjustment. Being around the game for quite a bit, you kind of know what kind of drills you can do, and just being around it, I guess. That's how I go about going from a beginner to a more advanced athlete, as I'd say.
Yeah, and I mean, not only are you doing this instruction, but you're also coaching at Reedley, right? And we haven't even touched on that yet. So like, I mean, so first off, what is your role at Reedley? And I mean, just kind of walk us through that.
So do you guys want me to tell you how I got the job?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Shout out to Clovis High. Shout out to Reedley College. Shout out to all the schools I've been to and been a part of. Like as a player, as you kind of guys, just hear how the person I am or whatever, I'm not super analytical. I'm just straight to the point. It's just work, right? So I didn't even know if I want to coach. Like I like the training part because it's more one-on-one. You get to talk to the kids, talk to the parents, the different personalities. And that's another thing why I'm not burnt out about it. A lot of people get burnt out. But so I was training over at Clovis High, 101. And then the coach, I won't give any names, but one of the coaches came up to me and was like, hey, why don't you start coaching here? I kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'll have enough time. Because I was working 7 days a week in summer, Monday through Sunday, no day off. But he was like, yeah, you should coach here. I was like, I don't know. We'll try it. I'll give you a text. A couple weeks go by. Hey, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm all in. It's sick, dude. Being at a high school, it's more of like a college. It's a high Division I program, playing in the track. It's not like you're scrubs, it's just not it's a bunch of dudes. Like they're all dudes. You know what I mean? They all have talent. So being a part of that and trying to get them to the next level is awesome. But got hired on. This was in late September. They had me for the strength and conditioning coach. So I was assisting the main strength conditioning coach for Clovis High School. But I was more for the baseball side. So I was training the guys. So during like fall ball, it's more about development. Getting your body right. And it's also important to work out while you're in season, but doing it the correct way. Not doing your bench press, not doing your bar dips, not doing your squats. You know what I mean? Not doing heavyweight, keeping it. You guys know. But yeah, I was doing the strength conditioning, and I was also the assistant pitching coach over there. which was pretty cool. You know, you got the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors out there, so you get a mixture of the kids. And that was pretty cool to see. But I thought I was going to be on varsity. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be on a higher level, which I thought like, oh, my credentials, you know, I may be on the varsity coaching staff. Excuse me. That wasn't the case. You know, the coaches told me, hey, you're going to be on JV freshman head coach. Oh, it's cool. You know, I'm all in for it. Cool opportunity. You know, especially being a head coach, you're in control of your own team. You get to kind of form it how you want. And then, you know, as it goes on, you know, two of the coaches left at Clovis High. So it's like, oh, shoot. So it would just be me, but I would be doing JV and freshman plus my training. So, you know, trainings, I want to pursue that. I want to see, you know, that's something that I'm going to do. So I was like, I don't know if I could take that, you know, offer or whatever, but I didn't say anything. So it was during middle December. I have one of my kids or one of my athletes, you know, they're like, hey, I need a home for next year. I was like, yeah, well, JUCO may be the right route to go. JUCO is a beautiful opportunity. So we met with the coach over at Reedley College, Coach Persh, just hands down, amazing coach, hands down, just like a dude that knows the game, like literally just knows the game. Played at Fresno State, coached at UCLA. I thought he coached at Fresno State for a little bit also. Just been around the game for so long, 30 plus years, dude. And set up a meeting with him and Coach Essien. Shout out to Coach Essien. He's a pitching coach over at Reedley College. Best pitching coach in the state at the JUCO, and topping up these D1 pitching coaches also. Really good dude, and just literally wants the best. He's more of a mentor. He was a coach, but also was a mentor to me as well throughout high school and throughout my life. But yeah, I set up the meeting with the two coaches and yada, yada. We were talking it up with the athlete was there as well. His dad was there also. And we're just talking for like 45 minutes to an hour. And then the coach Purse was like, hey, do you want a coaching job? Hell yeah, let's go. being 23 years old and, you know, coming straight out the game, fresh right out the game, you know, and being 23 years old, you don't know what you're going to, you know, I don't know what I want to do. I have my degree in, you know, in criminology. Like I just got my diploma like 3 weeks ago, dude. And in criminology, I was going to be a cop. I was going to be a part of CHP. But it's crazy because it's like, dude, you see all these, like I saw this one video, this Nevada State trooper having a random conversation just like we are with the dude in a truck. Started going back towards his cop car. Dude comes out with AK-47, blasts his head off. For what? So it's like, do I want to put myself in that type of situation? You know what I mean? I know a lot about the game, so let's just, you know, stick with something like that. So, but yeah, coach asked me, you know, so he got a coaching opportunity for the whole spring, took it. And now over at Reedley College, it's awesome being around those guys. It's funny because there's one dude on the team that's 25 years old and I'm 23. So it's like, dude, you're coach. It's like, yeah. But you can relate to the kids. You know, being a part of that JUCO, the junior college system, you got to be mentally tough. If you're not mentally tough, you're going to get weeded out. You know what I mean? Because mainly junior college is made for a second chance. You know, it's a place for a second chance. Usually those guys that go JUCO are overlooked, didn't have the grades, or didn't really have the talent that are trying to still get developed. You know what I mean? So it's a beautiful place to land as well. And you can get picked up out of JUCO to go pro. A lot of guys out of high school want to go D1. Oh, I'm hungry over D1. It's like, dude, chill. You're going to be a freshman, sophomore. You're not going to play your freshman, sophomore year.
Maybe red shirt.
You're going to red shirt. Yep. You're going to red shirt, and then you're going to be there for 3 years, get burnt out. Oh, I'm done. So why not bust ass for 2 years out of JUCO, have the opportunity to possibly go pro or D1 or even D2. The D2 is not talked about enough. That's where a bunch of dogs go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how I landed that coaching job, and it's been sick ever since. We're 6-0 right now.
See that? Hey, low ERAs too. These scores are pretty damn good. I gotta say, pitching staff's doing pretty good.
It's solid, and it starts with the pitchers. Who throws the first pitch? The pitcher, right? And as a closer, because I was a closer, but as a starter, it's that first pitch. You're setting the tone. It's setting that tone. First pitch strike. Let's go. Let's fire it up. You got the team on your back. But if you throw a ball, that shows weakness. Now you got the hitters are all riled up. All right, let's go. He's behind the count or whatever. So I don't know, dude. It's just beautiful to see being around those guys. They always ask for help. Hey, coach, what made you successful? Yada, yada, yada. Can you help me on this? Yeah, dude, let's work on it. Let's stay a little bit extra. Come before practice and we'll work. Because the schedule for junior college, like I was saying, I think a little bit earlier today, we had like this past week, we had 4 games. You know what I mean? We had 4 games in 7 days, and that was tough. But we did it. We went 4-0. And we have Cuesta on Tuesday. Luis, I was talking to you about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days ago. We got a Cuesta on Tuesday, and it's going to test us. It's really going to test us and see where we're really at. You know what I mean? How dialed in are we really, especially with COVID? Is COVID going to affect us? Maybe. Is that going to get to us? No, right? It's affecting everybody. Like we played this team. So it wasn't Hartnell. Was it Hartnell? I forget what team it was. 15 guys out due to COVID. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
15 dudes out due to COVID. So we were scheduled to play them on a Saturday. And the coach was like, hey, dude, we got some dudes out. Do you think we could just switch to Sunday? And then Coach Purse is pretty cool. So he's like, yeah, we can just switch over. But it's sad to see, especially the height. Sorry if I'm talking too much.
No, dude, talk away. Like,
please.
Hey, you're answering questions that we have for you just throughout your conversation.
We don't even need to ask.
Hey, I'm a recruiter, right? Like for work. And the best answers are the ones where they answer the questions that I have top of mind. So I appreciate this.
Right. I got you. But it's awesome to see. And I think Coach Purse is going to have me also work with recruiting. So I'm assisting Coach Essien for the pitching staff. So I work bullpen. So I'm big on bullpen, getting the guys mentally prepared. So it's like once we get into conference, once we dive into conference, it's go time. There's no room for mistakes because you got Fresno City, you got COS, you got Merced. These dudes are raw, and you got a lot of, now that COVID hit, you have a lot of kickbacks. You got a lot of D1, D2 guys that are going JUCO now because there's more room on the staff. You go Division I, you got 40, 50 dudes on the roster. They can only give out like 11 schollies or something like that. So it's like, dang, dude. Now junior college is free for 2 years. So that's another thing too, as a recruiter at a junior college, somebody that's been through the system, it's given opportunities, whatever, something could promote or tell these parents, hey, 2 free years at college. You know what I mean? A lot of parents want, okay, can you get a scholarship? Can you do this? Because they don't want to pay it. But hey, you go 2 years free, boom. You know what I mean? See what life can be for your son. How it just depends on how they do during their seasons, and go, if you can go D1, D2, get that scholarship that everyone wants. But everybody can't get, if there's 20 of us and there's a plate of food, you think we're all going to eat? Probably not. You know what I mean? There's only going to be maybe 2 or 3 guys that are going to be able to eat the food. Everybody's going to be hungry for it. That's how the JUCO is. Everybody's hungry for it. Everybody wants it. So yeah.
You touched on so much, and there's so much I want to dive into right there. But one of the things that, and I've always thought this, and not that my opinion, but not that my opinion matters, but I think if you're not going to be a first or second rounder, why go to D1, D2, D3? Why go there? You're going to be redshirted. You're going to be behind the top dogs. It's like at this JUCO level, JUCO, if you go watch, like for our listeners, if you go watch a JUCO game, it is so damn competitive. You think it's just a bunch of, guys who weren't good enough to play D1. That's not the case. I've seen some really good talent at the JUCO level, and it's because, like you said, they're hungry for it. You're going to see the top dogs at Vanderbilt, LSU, those kinds of colleges. You're going to see that, and that's flashy. They have the nice uniforms, they have the nice stadiums, bats, etc., but they're getting a lot handed to them. At the JUCO level, you got to fight for every pitch, every at bat, every inning, so on and so forth, every rep, every practice. And for those listening, I mean, if you're not going to be a first or second round pick, why not JUCO? Why not JUCO?
Why not? You know what I mean? Literally, why not? D1 level, do they do their own field? No, they got grounds crew.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
you know what I mean?
Their staff, I was looking, because I'm looking at some games, like Berkeley has freaking 6 different coaches, and then they have like their operations team. It's crazy. Like it's, you got so much, not handed to you. Obviously you work your ass off to get to that point, but it's kind of crazy. Like you look at that. I look at Reedley's coaching staff. There's like 5 of you guys, and it's
that's
crazy.
A lot for a JUCO.
Yeah.
I remember we played Saracosa like 2 years ago. No, it wasn't 2 years ago. It was like 3 years ago. Dude, they only had one coach, and he's his head coach. So it's like, for in and out, you got to think in and out. You got to think game plans. You got to think travel, right? You're doing all on your own. When you're at junior college, you're doing your own fields, right? You're going out there before a game, or prepping for a game day at practice. After practice, you're hoeing the weeds. You're prepping the mounds. You're making it how you want to make it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why a lot of JUCO guys have success as well. The blue collar work ethic. You know what I mean? That's huge. I feel like a lot of D1, nothing against Division I, but a lot of those people have money, and they're able to get those opportunities, right? Like if you have a lot of money in this world,
some connections, little connection there, here and there.
Yeah, dude, you're going to go. It's just going to be paid for it. You know what I mean? D1's going to be paid there. Right. But it's baseball's crazy, dude. There's so much, there's a lot of room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wild, but.
And and kids, even for myself, like for the longest time, all I thought in my town was either JUCO or D1. There was nothing in between. And finally, when I graduate, I realized there's D2, right? There's D3, there's NAIA, right? You got JUCO. I mean, there's just a lot of my teammates, they went JUCO and then they went to NAIA. They were playing out in Nebraska, and like, you're still living the dream. And
still getting the dream.
Exactly. And that would be my advice, because there's a lot of opportunity for kids. They just have to look into it. They have to be motivated to try to find that. You got to want it. You have to do that research, right? Everyone knows UCLA. Everyone knows Berkeley, right? Here in California. But you know that there's Reedley College? Did you know that there's Chabot College, right? Here in Hayward? Like, you have to.
Shout out to Aloni.
Aloni. Cal State East Bay is the D2 school, right? Right up the street from my house. Chico State, right? D2, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's just, you got to do the research, and there's just so much opportunity. You just got to want it. And then also seek advice too. I think, there's you just can't be afraid to ask questions. And that's something that, like, one of the main motivations why we do this podcast, of course, right? We were really Major League, baseball focused, but we're changing our scope, because in reality, there's kids out there that are still not committed, and they need to hear what you're talking about. They need to hear that there's more opportunities, right? So hopefully, if we get that one listener or 2 listeners, like, oh shit, maybe I should look at Reedley College, or maybe I should go look at Cal State East Bay. Hopefully, hey, fingers crossed, this episode helped.
Right. I want to kind of, the motivation part. Find your motivation. You fill your own shoes. Everybody's going to be different. You know what I mean? Some guys. So what for my trainings, hey, what's your goal? What's your monthly goal? What's your yearly goal? What's your goal in school? What's your goal in baseball? What's your goal in life? I have them write it all down, jot it down. Hopefully we, can hit those every month or year. You know what I mean? It's going to lead to the days, to the weeks, to the months. Then we'll succeed. Then we'll fill it up to the year. Just like if you win every pitch or win most of the pitches, win every inning, you're going to win the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the motivation part. You just gotta figure out what you want. Like Juan was saying, you gotta want it. You literally have to want it. Like for me personally, dude, having a single, just a mom, and then my brother was off at college. It was literally just me. I had to really find it out. I moved out when I was 7. I graduated high school when I was 17. So I moved out when I was 17 years old. Figure it out on your own, right? But life, and that's when your personalities, what type of personality are you? So like being a recruiter, that's how you do it. You analyze these guys. You sit back, you analyze. You let them do the talking, right? And you just sit and watch and see how they talk. And you can just tell how bad they want it, how bad they want to get to that next level, because they'll show it. The emotion, which is key. Emotion, keeping your composure, but showing emotion, showing you want it, like Juan was saying. But back to like the D2 as well. Chico's a powerhouse. So shout out to my buddy Christian Scott. He's in the independent league, but he may get a contract. I don't know if I should say this, but he may get a contract with the Cubs in a couple of weeks. Why? Because he worked his ass off. Plain and simple. Going from a powerhouse D2 to indie ball, and when you hit indie ball, it's tough to make it. It's tough to get the contract. I hit him up yesterday because we were talking about doing the towel drill or sock drill. So that's like a pitching drill, whatever. And I called him up during a session to talk with one of my kids. I was like, just to tell him the importance of it, just real brief. I was like, Shug, that's what we call him, Shug. I was like, Shug, what'd you top out this year? 98.2 miles an hour. He went from his senior year, I believe, so all the way up to his junior year, he was a third baseman, had a great arm. Coach moved him to a pitcher, to a closer. His senior year, that's when he was getting he was actually going to get picked up by the A's, but didn't like the money and all that. But it's crazy just in 1 year transition what you can really fulfill. So like, for example, if anybody watching right now, or once we publish this, there's going to be a lot of, athletes from different ages, listening in on this. If you're at a position and you don't like it, try something new. You never know the potential that you can have at that spot. If you're an outfielder, highly recommend you try to become a PO. Why? Because you get sling the ball from the outfield, right? If you're a shortstop, highly recommend you become a pitcher. Why? Because you have the natural cut and run on your ball, just how you release the baseball. Now, if we can get that to 88, 90 miles an hour, that's money. So just try to find a motivation in baseball. It's going to get you far places. It's going to set you up for jobs, for your future career. It keeps you structured. And it keeps you just dialed in every single, whatever job opportunity you may take, it preps you for that. So that's a little bit about, the Chico D2, the opportunities, and using that example, and also touching in on the motivation part.
Don't start as a PO only like Soto over here.
Hey, Lou, where'd you guys play it, or where'd you guys go to high school?
I went to James Logan High School.
We both went to James Logan.
We're kind of a powerhouse here in the Bay Area. James Logan High School, pretty good squad. My class, 2013. One of our boys got drafted 5th round. Other guy
Royals.
Royals. One of our pitchers went to Cal, and then our other 3 pitchers went to Chabot College. So like we had a pretty solid team there.
Do you still follow up on the high school team?
Yeah. I still have some connections there, and it's a bit different now. Just how the different team staff. Is, different staff, different style of coaching, things like that. They have more dudes on the team. Usually when I was playing, it was like 18 kids. Now it's like 20, 23, something like that. So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I still keep in touch. One of the boys actually right now, he just committed to Menlo College, which is a NAIA. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So hopefully more of those kids are able to, just kind of open their eyes and see what else is out there, because Chabot College is literally down the street. Ohlone College is down the street. But
how far is Laney from you guys? You guys are in Hayward?
Oh yeah, that's like 15 minutes too. Laney College. That's another good program. Honestly, that's another good program. Yeah, we're here in the Bay Area, East Bay Area specifically. We're very fortunate to have so many colleges close to us. I mean, Holy Names, right? Nobody even really knows what Holy Names, D2 program, right? Down the street. It's in Oakland, so
Academy of Art.
Yeah, Academy of Arts. Like it's there's so many, teams here in the Bay Area of all levels, and it's just it's
so it's like why aren't Academy of Arts, or let's just say San Francisco State or schools like that, why aren't they getting the attention as a LSU would? Why? Because I think, Juan, you were talking about a little bit earlier, everybody wants to be in the spotlight. You know what I mean? Everybody wants
the prestige.
Yeah, dude, the ego and all that. It's like, dude, like, I'm tired of seeing these Evo shields and these. I mean, like, dude, there was like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. No, it was like last week or something. We were playing this team, and I saw this dude hitting BP, and he had freaking one of those what is it for the ankles or something? The shin guards.
Oh yeah.
Bro, he had 2 of them on. For what? Tell me why. Why do you have 2 on? And he wasn't a switch hitter. Why do you have 2 on? So it's stuff like that, dude. It's like, come on, just play. You know what I mean? Just play.
Yeah. Flashiness.
Yeah, dude, just a bunch of slaps.
Yeah, and not to dock, D1 or anything like that. That's great programs. It's just like, it's the reason why we're having this conversation is just give kids a reality. Like, it's not just D1. And like I've said this like 4 or 5 times already, but it's because the reality is, like, I graduated from Cal State East Bay, and I work now at a prestigious company. I didn't go to Harvard. I'm interviewing people from Harvard, right? I'm interviewing people from freaking Pepperdine. I didn't have to get that degree to do that,
There it goes flexing again.
I'm not trying to Jesus Christ. I didn't say the company. All right, I didn't say the company I work with, none of that. Okay, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things. It's like, hey, like, there's opportunity everywhere. You just literally have to,
especially if you go to San Jose State.
Oh yeah, San Jose State.
Spartan up, baby.
Oh my god.
That's where I was born, San Jose, Bay Area.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
Family's from the Bay Area. I got a question for you guys.
Bring it.
Now that we're talking about it a little bit, do you think you need a degree to? How can I put this together? Let's just say let's make it more broad. Do you feel like you need a degree to be successful in life?
No. I think there's great examples of people that don't need a degree even now, right? TikTok.
Stay on that point, but they make it to where, okay, you need a master's, you need a bachelor's for what?
Yeah. And that's something that, like, I work through too, right? Because sometimes the job description will say master's, right? And it's preferred, obviously. Like, sometimes it is a requirement. And that's something that, like, I try to understand, because there's people like software engineers, right? There's people who got their degree in software engineering, right? In engineering. And then you have people who went to boot camp engineering for 2 weeks, and they're getting the same job. They didn't have to go their 5 years, 6 years of college. They literally went to a boot camp for a month, right? And now they have the same job. So that's something that, like, I try to understand. It's like, to what point does that degree really matter? Of course, right? Engineering, you're probably going to need some, learn the code and things like that. But for a lot of opportunities, like, say, being a motivational speaker, right? Do you need a degree? No, you have your life experiences for that. Right. But also, if you want to get a certification just to improve just how you articulate your words, because that's something that, even for myself, the ability to articulate my words, I got that from college because like I had to do a speech class, right? But that's not necessarily the case all the time. But to answer your question, it's not. I don't think it's not necessarily needed. And that stigma of like, oh, you don't have a degree, then you're not going to be able to get this good job is complete BS, because that's not the case anymore. Like you all you have to be is motivated. That's you just need that motivation.
That's it, the motivation. And I'm gonna bounce in right here and give you my answer. I agree. You don't need a degree to be successful in life. However, college brings motivation, determination, concentration, focus, etc., etc. People, all three of us have college degrees, and it takes a lot to complete that. It doesn't matter what your focus, what your major is. So if you're not going to have a college degree, that's fine, but make sure whatever you do, you're the damn best at it.
Yes.
Whether you're a baseball player, you're a police officer, you're a firefighter, you're a doctor. I mean, obviously you can't be a doctor without having a degree. But be the damn best at it, and you will be successful no matter what you do. And I think I do highly recommend going to college for anyone listening. But if that's not for everyone, and that's okay that it's not for everyone. But put in that work, put in that effort. I have friends and family that they didn't want to work. They didn't want to work for what they wanted. They wanted to be millionaires, right? They want that Lambo. They want that mansion. They want to live on the beach, and they don't want to go to school, and they don't want to go to trade school. So it's like, how are you going to get there? Right. You got to work hard. You got to be the best at, no matter what it is, does not matter what it is. You got to be the best at it, and you got to be determined. So college helps you in that way. And it's not necessarily the paper that you get at the end of it, but it's how structured it is and how hard you have to work, and, getting kicked on your ass a little bit, right? Like in high school, I was, top student in almost any class that I took, right? Like it was just easy. I never studied. It was just, I was walking in the park, right? Didn't care, got through it, right? Get to college, it was a whole different ballgame. I had to teach myself how to study. I had to teach myself how to, stay up all night and do all these things, because I wasn't used to it. It's just different. And, it taught me so much. So that aspect, I think, leads to success, but it's not necessarily the degree at the end of it that leads to success.
That is true. I think, like, adding to that, a lot of kids, even ourselves, a lot of people have the what, right? I want to be a millionaire, but they don't know the how and why. Why? Where's the how and why? Like for myself, I was working full time and going to school full time. Why? Because I fucking need to pay for my school.
Right.
I'm grinding this out because I need to pay for my school. I need to be successful. I have my parents, right? I want to please my parents, but I'm doing this for myself. I'm trying to prove to myself, hey, you can work full time. You can go to school full time. Like that was my why. It's like here's a challenge. Let's do it. And how? I'm gonna freaking lose some sleep. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna have to, eat some ramen here and there. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
Some mayonnaise in there.
Hell yeah, yeah. So the how and why, I think that's the thing is like everyone has the what, but where's the how and why? And then touching the Juan, like like in regards to the college degree, that's so true. If college is not for you, okay, well get into a trade, right? Do something, like try to find something that you're passionate about or something that you think that you'll be successful at. So thank you for touching on that, Juan, because I don't want everyone thinking like, hey, don't go to college.
No, that's not the message.
Hopefully that's not the message. Hey, go to college, that's great. But if you don't, like, have that plan, right? I had backup plans. I always focused on plan A, but if plan A did not work out for some reason, I had that plan B. Hey, I want to play college baseball. Hey, if it doesn't, all right, well, I'm going to get my degree. I'm at least going to get my degree. If I don't get my degree, hey, I'm going to go to a trade, or I'm going to work for my father and take over his business. You know what I mean? Like that's just like,
and don't forget about plan C, D, E, and F, right? Like don't limit yourself to 2 plans. And,
exactly.
And all this comes back to baseball. I know we're having like a life conversation, but it all comes back to baseball because these are things that we need our players to learn, right? You're a center fielder. All right, cool. Well, there's 3 center fielders in this city that are better than you. So why don't we learn right field? Why don't we learn shortstop? Why don't we learn how to pitch, right? Have all of those backup options to better yourself. you might be a damn good pitcher, but there's probably 1,000 better pitchers than you.
Hey, they're all my fastball. Oh shit. Well, obviously you can't throw my fastball. Here's my curveball. All right, my curveball's not working. All right, well, here comes the changeup. Like you gotta. It's always
Adjust.
Okay. What's the next thing? Those adjustments, right? You adjust in baseball. Same thing in life. You make adjustments in life. That's just how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. That's key. Making adjustments to life. Like I was telling both of you guys, but you never know what may happen tomorrow. You know, I may get fired over at Reedley College. Something may happen with my trains where I have to stop. You know what I mean? So you never know. You always have to adjust. You can never get comfortable. You can never be content. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things too with some baseball players. You get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. You're going 4-for-4. Say you're on a 12-game hot streak. Don't get comfortable. Why are you getting comfortable for what? That streak can end and you can just go right into a slump. Then you're hitting below average. You know what I mean? You're the hot pitcher. You're the number one in the state starting out at the beginning of the season. Towards the end of the season, you could be last. Or in the middle, you could just be another average guy. It doesn't matter. Don't get comfortable. Don't get so complacent. You know what I mean? And that applies to, like I said, baseball. One thing that I want to touch on too is like the recruiting. Like what I see is like on Twitter or Instagram, just social media in general. All right, Henry got an offer from LSU. Let's post it, right? My third offer from LSU. Alabama, my fourth offer from, or my fourth offer, Alabama, something like that. It's like, dude, nobody needs to know all that. You know what I mean? Chill out. We get it. Congratulations. But being all that flashy, you don't want to have too much attention on you. If you have too much attention on you, the bar is going to be set way too high. And if you don't meet that standard, right? If you don't, even in life, if you don't meet that standard, you're going to crumble. You're going to crumble. Now adversity kicks in. How are you going to deal with adversity? You know what I mean? And that's the issue right now in all sports. Like you see, like in college football, let's start with like the money. You know how they got their money deal now. Now you see a lot of these college athletes. I see more of football than baseball because baseball literally just started. But for football, they're now getting in the transfer portal. I don't like this school. Let's transfer. I don't like this school again. Let's transfer again. You know what I mean? And these guys, some are getting paid millions of dollars. Why go pro ball for what? You're making millions. You just signed a deal with Adidas. You know what I mean? You just signed a deal. You're doing commercials for Lululemon, like just a whole bunch of stuff, dude. So it's like it's crazy, but you can never get too comfortable because you never know when you can slip up. There's been a lot of athletes that have gotten in trouble. Henry Ruggs, right? Balling, literally balling, rolling, best receiver for Raiders, right? Juan?
Yeah.
Then what happens? What was it? He got in the accident.
DUI accident.
Where's he now?
Finger.
Yeah, where's he now? Prison or jail, right? You never know. Just like with baseball.
Finger.
Yeah, just like with baseball, don't get too comfortable because you can get cut. If a coach doesn't, your ego's way up to the sky, don't be surprised if you get cut.
Life humbles you. Life humbles you really quick. Really quick. It doesn't matter if you're a baseball player, in real life. I mean, I woke up today, my knee was hurting. I was like, man, I'm only 26, and it's like life humbles you. Life humbles you really quick.
It does, man.
One of the things that, we were doing our research on you and just, kind of looking you up and looking up your history. One of the things we found on you is Sit Down with Sid. Tell us about that. That's
the
a
life
cool
adjustment thing. That's something you said. Life adjustments. Like, hey, there's that transition.
Yeah, you know what? It's always I've always had an interest in the criminal world, criminal mind. Throughout my life, my dad's been in and out of prison. I'll just be real with you guys. He's been in and out of prison. So you have to talk about adjust. You got to adjust, right? So I've always wondered, hey, what's the mind like while being on drugs? What's the mind like having a parent that was doing drugs? Now you're pregnant. Now the kid's screwed up. You know what I mean? That's now the mental hospitals. What happened to the mental hospitals? Now that's why you see a bunch of homeless. You know what I mean? Now LA's having a homeless problem. It's not their fault. It's the state's fault. You know what I mean? Keep the mental hospitals. Keep them. They need medication to function. It's not their fault. You know what I mean? 90%, 80% of these people that go on drugs is because they're depressed or, they were the crack era, right? It's just a whole nine. And what I wanted to do, I'm really glad. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys did a little bit of research because I didn't really think about that. Kind of caught me off guard. I like that. But,
hey,
we
got little curveball, little
curveball,
just baby.
I gotta sit back on the curveball now. But but it's crazy because like once COVID hit, like was it 2020, I think? Or like 19, whatever it was, 2020. Things started shutting down, baseball ended. I was done for baseball. What do? Going around. I got my, I was getting my degree in criminology. All right, let's shoot something for that. You know what I mean? Started that podcast. And I wanted to, my goal was start a podcast. Now let's interview people in prison. Let's go to these prison institutions. Let's sit down with your level 4 guys. So you guys know what the level 4 guys, those are the shot callers. Those are the guys that are on 24 lockdown. Those are the guys that you just pick their heads, right? And you just kind of, the murders, all that, child molesters, all that. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, dude, I would interview people in prison, just like how we are right now, but literally in prison. They have their phones. They got contraband in there. How do they get the contraband in there? You know what I mean? There's only one way in and one way out. And they're stuck in there for a long time. So you guys know who works the prisons going in and out. That's how it gets brought in. Majority of those CLs, they don't make a lot of money. Right? So how if I was an inmate and I said, hey, if you smuggle, I don't want to get all detailed, but if, hey, you smuggle this in, I'll give you 4 G's for the month. You bring in 3 iPhones, I'll give you $1,000 for each. Why not? That just paid for my mortgage. You know what I mean? Stuff like that too. So it's crazy because you got to keep everything at abroad. I was a great athlete. I was never good in school. So I'm not going to be your CPA. I'm not going to sit down and mathematics and learn numbers and all that. That's just not me. Like I said, I had somebody that was in and out of prison. You know what I mean? And he's still in prison for a good reason. And I've always wanted to learn the criminal mind. Why, homelessness as well. So I started kind of getting involved in the homeless environment as well. And dude, it's crazy. Talk about survival. You know what I mean? And a lot of people say, they chose to do that. Nah, dude. 80-90% of those people, 95% of those people didn't choose to do it. They just didn't know a way. They didn't have any motivation, right? They didn't. The people that they are forced to be surrounded with, which was their parents and how they were brought up. Come on, dude. They didn't have any certain sense of like motivation or you need to go to school. You need to, do this. I think this would be good for you. Try this sport out, right? And it sucks, dude, because being here in Fresno, like if a homeless person came up to me, I know how to talk to them. And it's not, oh, get away, right? It's just like it's just like a dog. Think about the dog in the shelters. It's the same exact thing as a prison. What do they do for dog shelters? Do they let the dogs wander around? No, they keep them in a shelter. They keep them locked in a certain, diameter of a cage, right? And it's very tight space. They do these to criminals, right? Instead of having so much correctional officers, why not have these therapists come in and talk to people, talk to these? That's all they want, dude. That's all it is. Literally, Luis Swan, dude. Like, I've talked to murderers, cold killers, dude. We're just chopping it up, just how we are. We're just talking, literally. And it's crazy because, dude, these are people too. They've made a lot of mistakes. Is that okay to murder someone? No, absolutely not. Is it okay to mess with a kid? No, because if you mess with a kid, you're gonna get dealt with in prison. That's just how it is. But now these child molesters, right? How was their youth? Were they getting, what I mean, mentally and all that? They probably jacked them up, so they didn't know how to react. So they thought that was the norm. So but it's not okay. But that's a little bit why I've started that podcast, and I kind of stopped just because. And it was getting hot too. I liked it. It was, it was getting nice. It was on a nice little roll. But that's when because I was doing DoorDash at the time too. So I was DoorDashing, and I was doing that as well. So when I wasn't DoorDashing, I was doing an interview. And I was just hustling, dude. I would do like 3 a day and then try to pump out like 3 or 4 throughout the week and then just keep it boom, 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 boom. That way it's consistent. But it was getting to the point to where I was like, dang, it's kind of getting tough. It was a lot of work.
I mean, mentally draining, I would
it
imagine.
It was very mentally draining. There was very little time. And then that's when I kind of got in the trainings. I needed some, I was like, I just can't be doing this. But that's talking about sacrifices you got to make as well. If you want to do something, find something and run with it and find some type of, money in it, whether it may be like your guys' podcast, right? You guys get a certain amount of views for YouTube, you get paid. How are you going to get those views? How are you going to get those views? As you guys know, is interviewing, his name is Baseball Dad or something?
Yeah.
He has a lot of followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Shouting you guys out. That's where I see it. You guys are one of the big guys, so that you can get your name out there. That way you're also getting paid through YouTube, your podcast, your living. You got to live, dude. You got to pay bills. You know what I mean? And that was with me too. I was like, I just don't know if it's going to work. So that's when I took a different route, and I thought about going back and doing both. But do I have time? I don't, dude. I work Monday. I coach literally Monday through Saturday, and then I train Monday through Sunday. So it's like we have practices at 1 p.m. I get there an hour before. We get done at like 3. We get done at like 3:30. I'm able to get a little bit of food, drive back to Clovis because we're like 30, 40 minutes away. Drive back to Clovis, start my sessions at 6, and I don't end till 10 p.m. And it's like after 10 p.m. Yeah, exactly. And after 10 p.m., going back to getting prepared, Juan, how you asked me that question about how do I go from like a 7-year-old to a 16-year-old or whatever, or a 17-year-old, or one guy that wants velocity. That's something where you have to, you just can't do it day of. You got to be prepared. You got to have everything jotted down. You got to have a practice plan. You got to have a plan before going in. You got to have a plan before going into an interview. Right? Because you're going to get analyzed. Hey, if he hits me with this question, this is how I'm going to bounce back. Hey, he throws me a curveball here. Or let's just say, what's coming? First pitch is going to be a strike down the middle. Hey, why not hit that first pitch? Why not take that first opportunity? You know what I mean? In life and in baseball as well. So yeah, that's what, that's how, not to go off track, but that's how I started the podcast. And I love it, dude. It was sick. You meet different people, and people, my buddy Jarrett, he lives in a whole different state. I think it's Tennessee or something like that. We talk, you know what I mean, regularly. I talk to this dude that's in prison right now currently. You just need somebody to talk to. It's like once a month or whatever. And we'll call, hey, how you doing? Chopping it up regular, just like this. But that's something that I'm not afraid of embracing too, especially during the trainings. Oh, you interview criminals. Oh, you do this. Dude, it's something that I interview correctional officers. I interview wardens. I interview probation officers. I interview lawyers. I interview anybody in the criminology or in law enforcement. You know what I mean? But it's now time to get a grip. God has told me, gave me a path, and the path is giving back to the youth. I've been in certain situations. I love working with kids that, you know, don't know if they're going to eat tomorrow. I love that. Why? Because I can relate, or I could, you know what I mean? Back then I could relate. Especially being another topic that I wanted to go over too is shout out to Coach Essien. He brought this to my attention like a couple weeks ago. There's only guess how many black coaches there are in the United States?
Very, very few.
Baseball coaches. Even let's go on football. Football.
It's like one.
There's about what 80% blacks in the not to bring race in. I'm just being real. 80% or even minorities. Let's just say minorities. 80% minorities in the NFL. How many coaches are there in the NFL that are black or minority?
Very, very head coach is one, right? It's just one right now, right?
Dude, yeah, like there's like one or two head coaches.
There's two hired today, but regardless, I mean, it's still okay. Now it's 3, so it's very, very few, and it's alarming. And in any sport, in life in general, it's wild. In baseball, how many major league managers?
Dude, very few.
Very few.
It's like, why isn't Ron Washington a manager? You know what I mean? Like he is well loved, right? Has one of the greatest minds in baseball right now, and he's not a manager. It's like, why
is Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame? I get the steroids, I get it, but in that era, right, there was a lot of guys that thing steroids. Just like now, everybody wants to get on Driveline. You got to get on Drive. I got buddies, dude, that would hop on Driveline throwing 94, 95, but couldn't hit a strike. It doesn't matter. Yeah, velocity can get you places, but are you going to be able to pump a strike? Teach location, then teach the velo. You can't teach velo, then location. You know what I mean? And being a closer, I love the velo. I can throw hard. Can you spot up and throw hard? That's why you see a lot of these major leaguers, these college dudes, throwing fresh out of college going into the bigs. They only spend 1 to 3 years in the bigs. Why? Because they can't spot a freaking fastball down the middle. That's what separates the dogs from just like the freaking sheep. You know what I mean? The sheep, dude. That's when you gotta flip the box. You gotta find out how you can separate yourself from everybody else and stand out. You know what I mean? So
throwers and there's pitchers, right? You could throw, 100, right? But can you locate it? Hitters, the best hitters in the world, they could hit 100. You just keep throwing 100, you're gonna get parked. You better have a changeup. You better have a slider, a cutter, whatever you're gonna have, right? You got to pitch. You can't just throw.
Right.
And I mean, it's just going back to all the life adjustments, right? I mean, there's absolutely so much. So we talked kind of earlier, I feel like you answered this question kind of in our intro, but one of the questions we asked to all of our guests is why baseball? Why are we talking to Sid, the baseball coach, a college baseball player? Why aren't we talking to Sid, the football player, the basketball, soccer, hockey, whatever it might be? Like, why baseball for you?
It's got got me to a point to where I am now. Like, I'm able to, I can go into detail, dude, about
do it. Let's get it.
Yeah, we want it.
Dude, that's why I feel like I have to give back. One, like, I'll go into detail right now, but baseball has given me an opportunity that nothing else would have. Who knows where I'd be without baseball? You know what I mean? I could have easily given up. dude, I put in so much freaking work. I hated school, but I had to do it. Why did I have to do it? To play the game that I love. So I'm gonna do anything in my power to do and continue the sport that I love. So you have to have good grades. So that was always tough for me, dude. And I was I would bounce back in high school being ineligible. You can't play this year. You can't play this fall. You have to take off. You have to take summer school. You have to take 4 classes in summer school. You have to get this certain GPA. Dude, I graduated freaking college with like a 2.6. It's crazy because once baseball ended, I had 1C. And that was 2 semesters. So it's crazy the focus, you know what I mean? It kind of prepped me for a certain situation that I would never see myself at. Now I got to finish it. Now that I'm done with baseball, I got to finish the job. Now I was getting my degree. So without baseball, dude, I wouldn't have got my associates. I wouldn't have met awesome people, right? I got buddies in the pros. I got buddies everywhere, all across the United States and Canada and Mexico, Japan, all over. Would I have met them without baseball? You know what I mean? So it's a thing where, like we were talking about earlier, it's a community, dude. It brings everybody together. You guys are podcast dudes, freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like you're talking about the operations coach, Luis. Like, who wants an operations coach? Like, everybody can bring everything into the table from different sides. And that's when you have the best team. That's when you have the best community, baseball community. And I just feel like baseball has kept me level-headed. You know what I mean? And it's not only a sport, but it gets you prepared for life. It does. And you guys both played baseball. You guys know it's prepared you guys for this moment. If you guys didn't play baseball, you guys wouldn't know, like, you know what I mean? If I didn't play baseball, I wouldn't be able to teach these kids. That's like me if I didn't. Oh, let's go coach Timmy in tennis. Think I'm gonna coach him in tennis? Do you think I know anything? Or golf, dude? A lot of these baseball guys golf. I don't even golf. A lot of them golf. Oh, let's go play golf, dude. I don't play golf. I just play baseball. And, all right, let's go. Let's get out of here. You know what I mean? So it's crazy what it's really done for me. And for my future with baseball and everything, I'm going to continue to stay in baseball. I'm going to find a way to win every single time, every single opportunity. And I continue to do my baseball trainings here in the Central Valley. And I think that's why I'm also successful for the baseball trainings, is because I'm well known here and I've been at every single level. Also, I'm just authentic. I'm just real about things. Like, hey, if your kid's not where he should be, I'm going to tell the parent your kid should not. I don't think your kid should do trainings, right? I think you need to go in the backyard and throw the baseball to your kid and be a father and, have that father-son relationship and just throw the ball. Let him figure it out. Let him figure out adjustments. I didn't have any trainer. I didn't have any of that. I had to figure it out all on my own. I threw 88 I topped out. I threw pretty hard, but I didn't throw hard like the guys do now. I topped out at 91 at Chico State, releasing the ball literally from the side instead of down. If you release the ball down, getting on top of the ball, it adds more zip to it. That's why I see a lot of balls go down than up. But if you're coming off the side, that's when you get a lot of cut. But if you come off the side, no, Luis, next time you do long toss, I want you to release the ball off the side. Release the ball off the side. Tell me how far that ball goes. Then I want you to release the ball down on it. Then let me know if that ball carries. So it's like stuff like that. I could have easily made an adjustment. I could have probably been throwing 94, 95. Who knows where I would be? You know what I mean? But when I was in Canada, I had a good shot for pro ball, right? Because that was pro ball. That was like an amateur. If you look it up, amateur pro ball, whatever. I'd much rather be training the kids now, dude. I love it. But like over at Reedley College, I had also had a .154 batting average against averaging. So it's like, were people hitting off me? No, they weren't. No, he wasn't even at 200 batting average. That's trash. 250 is like, below average. 280 we're average. 300's all right. It's pretty good. 350, you're really good, right? And then you keep going on up from there. So it's to the point to where it's like you got to take the bull by the horns, and you got to take every opportunity you get. And that's in baseball and life. Baseball and life correlate together. That's why a lot of baseball players become successful out of baseball, because it's prepped them for life, like I said a little bit earlier.
100%.
So true. Love that though. I love that. I mean, I just 100%. Baseball has set my life up to the way I wanted it because of just the structure, the repetitiveness, the commitment, right? I made sacrifices in my life, but it's because of baseball, because I had to make sacrifices right early on. Hey, I can't go to the movies because I got practice, right? Or I can't go hang out. I can't go bowling because I got to pitch tomorrow, right? Like that's the stuff that like has led me to where I'm at now, right? I can work full time and still do a podcast. Like some people can't do that, you know what I mean? Right. And yeah, it's just baseball, man. Like that's why we love asking this question, because it just opens up your eyes, because in reality it's like, of course, right, we're all baseball community, but we're all where we're at because of baseball. And if anyone tells you otherwise, then they're just like, I don't know, man. Like coach got on to you a couple times. You don't think that, like you don't think that led on to your success? Come on, man.
Right. Absolutely. Dude, I got hit by I was throwing BP over the summer. You guys probably can't see it. You see a scar right there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, right up here in the lip area, and then right below, and then kind of in the corner. Dude, I was throwing BP at least 95 exit velo off the eye socket. I had my my Ray-Bans on, dude. I threw the pitch, and it was like one of my older kids. He's a big dude, and he was hitting it, and I was like, and I threw it, and I like didn't get away in time. You know how you throw the pitch and you kind of get behind the L screen? I threw it and kind of just got stuck, dude. Boom, right to the eye socket. My eye immediately shut, and like, dude, this blood was just squirting just from the top part right here. It was just squirting blood. First thing I thought was, dude, my trainings are done. I'm done. I thought I was blind because I couldn't see out of my right eye. So I thought swear to God, I thought my eye fell out. Like something fell out of the socket, and I just couldn't see, or I thought I was blind in it. And it just, jacked up all the orbital and all that. But I ended up fracturing the orbital, and I didn't get 24 stitches, dude.
Wow.
Brutal. I waited. It happened in the morning. I forget what time. It was like 9 or 8 or 9 something. Dude, I didn't get stitches till 6 p.m.
Jeez.
No pain medicine.
Oh.
So you have your shirt.
Built different, man.
Yeah, dude. No, you have your shirt over your freaking eye, and you would take off, like I would take off my shirt sometimes. It would just stick to the cut. Oh. And it would just like rip. Oh, dude. Whatever you guys throwing BP, get beyond the L screen.
Yeah.
That's great life advice.
And then you get hit. You're like, are you okay? Yeah, I've been hit harder. I've been hit hard. Well, it's good.
Yeah, dude, Jesus. But why do you guys do the podcast? What made you guys get involved in the podcast?
Great question. Soto and I have been best friends since 7th grade. We've had so many similarities over the year, but our text feed, if you look at our text feed, it's just baseball. It's just baseball. That's what we talk about 24/7. Doesn't matter if it's coaching, it doesn't matter if it's development, if it's, hey, did you see this trade, did you see this signing, what do you think about this, right? And it's like, it got to the point where it's like, why don't we have an audience, whether it's 2 people, 2 million, 200, doesn't matter. Like, why don't we have an audience for this? And it adapted, right? Like our newest campaign is growing the game. We want to grow the game. We see football gaining its popularity, and basketball gaining its popularity. And it's like, why not baseball? We're so passionate, us three, and so many other people are so passionate about baseball. Like, why don't we share that with someone else? And again, we don't care if it reaches 2 people, 1 person, even if someone listens for 5 minutes, right? That's an opportunity for us to grow the game that we love, that's given us so many opportunities, so many options in life and the sport, so on and so forth. Like, this is our way of giving back to the sport that's given so much to us.
That's awesome, dude.
100%.
There's not a lot of like baseball podcasts either. No. Like you're talking about one, there's a lot of football, you know what I mean, but not baseball and like talking about the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like a lot of the baseball podcasts, majority of them are just focused on Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. And we're kind of doing a twist. We're like, why can't we do all levels? Why can't we talk to a little league coach or a college coach or someone from Major League Baseball? Because I think that's where things get segmented, from time to time. It's like, people only focus on Major League Baseball, but do you realize that college baseball is exciting? Right. Or minor league baseball, everything, it's exciting, right? Like, but people don't know that. I think one of the coolest things is like when some of the people in our community message us like, wow, I didn't know that actually happened, or wow, I didn't know that. Like, that's the stuff that we appreciate hearing. I mean, we're not striving for that, right? We're just doing our best to bring awareness, but those are some of the coolest things. It's like when you get that comment like, wow, I had no idea, right? I had no idea that there was a college, Reedley College out there. There's a baseball team out there, right? Like that. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, baseball, man. Like, we did this podcast because, of course, we love baseball. We appreciate each other. We flow pretty good. But yeah, the biggest thing is growing that game, because honestly, baseball, but I also wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have those people in my life, right? My coaches. To push me, right, and talk and have conversations. That's the biggest thing. It's just have a conversation, awesome. Right?
Yeah. Have you guys thought about doing now something cool would be, because you can get like any college person or any youth baseball coach, high school coach, or high school player, whatever. Mm-hmm. Would be really cool is like the day in the lives. So it's like you'd have your guys' top of the lineup. We got let's just say Juan Soto, top of the lineup. You know what I mean? His day in the life. And so you guys kind of like interview these guys, and you guys know how the day in life goes. When they wake up, what's their daily routines? What's it like to be a JUCO guy? You know, I mean, what's it like to be a D1, D2 NAIA guy? You know what I mean? An NAIA has a lot to offer, tons of money. For you guys out there that are wanting to, if D1 or D2 or JUCO ball may not be for you, NAIA is a beautiful opportunity as well. They give a lot of scholarships out. But, yeah, you guys, that'd be something cool as well. And I have tons of connections too, so let me know if you guys need people to interview. Yeah.
Bring them.
I'll shoot them your guys' way, because I was it Luis or Juan on TikTok?
Yeah.
Was it you, Luis? Yeah, I hit you guys up. I was like, dude, I want to go on this podcast. This is sick. And I think it was Baseball Dad that had it on TikTok. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's like you get those high platforms and you shoot it out. Then it's like, people that are wanting, instead of asking these people, hey, you want to go on my podcast? Whatever. They want to go on your podcast because it's sick, dude. It's dope. And you guys are like, authentic. It's not like because I have my own podcast too. You guys know I have my own podcast, but it's like, it's not question. All right, question. We're just chilling. We're just talking about the game, and then just rolls into the next question. Yada, yada, yada.
We had a whole document planned out, and I think we might have answered. We might have asked one or two of these questions.
Seriously,
because we're just flowing.
We're just flowing.
We're having a conversation, right? Like, you think we were expecting to talk about life, but no. But let's talk about it, right? Like, it's the beauty of this. I mean, we could talk about anything. It's just a platform for us to reach, again, 2 people, 200, 2 million, doesn't matter. If we reach one person and change their thought process or make them think about something just a little bit. Like, that's what we're in it for.
Love it. I love it.
We appreciate you coming on. I mean, dude, you're 23 years old. I wish that 3 years ago, man, I wish I was half as smart as you.
No, dude, I'm not. I'm not. I got the brains for it, but I show it. You know, I mean, I show it. I just can't sit down. Like, I wish I can just sit down and talk the game with you guys. Oh, this, you know, this trade or this deadline or the lockout, whatever. You know, this is this. It's just to the point to where, like, I know that Santa Barbara City coach, he was mentioning, like, you know, the whole trades and stuff, and this is this. But I just show it, dude. And he also how he mentioned, I forget what player it was. He mentioned some type of player, and he was just like, yeah, he just does it. Like, he just does it, and he performs. That's how I was. I just did it, and I just performed. I didn't talk about it. They show you these change-up grips, and they're telling you how you throw. I just throw it, dude. In my mind, I don't think about it too much. I don't think about the situation too much, because when you think about it too much, it becomes overwhelming. And when it becomes overwhelming, your engine, right? Your engine starts to overheat. And when your engine starts to overheat, the whole car collapses. When the whole car collapses, or when your mind starts to overthink, your whole body's just going to collapse and just give out. So, what shirt sizes do you guys wear?
Well, I'm a large.
I'm a big guy.
Is that a Lacy baseball shirt? Or
this is one of them? Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
They're Nike. I'll make sure they're Nike. And I got it on the sleeve. I got Lacy baseball.
Yeah, we need those. We need those in our life. I'm a 2X. I'm a big guy, so
we're gonna have to give you 1 second. We have a shirt for you too. 1 second.
Oh
yeah, our Grow the Game shirt.
Let's go.
Yeah, a little trade, huh? Little trade.
I'll rep it. I'll give you guys I'm gonna send you guys like 2 different designs.
Okay.
And I'll shoot them over to you guys.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a deal.
So I got a 2X.
So this is our grow the game shirt. What size are you?
I'm a larger XL. I was gonna screenshot. Larger XL, doesn't matter.
Okay. Do you plan on gaining a little more yoked, or?
Dude, I'm cutting weight right now.
Oh, so I'll give you a large.
Go XL.
XL.
Go XL.
Yeah, XL's good. Yeah, dude, I gotta. Yeah. When I was in season, I was pumping the iron pretty hard, but ever since I came out, it's like being out in the summer, dude. You don't have time to eat. Like, you don't have really any breaks. Like, you'll have time to munch on a snack or something, or a little bit of water. But you can't eat, 1,400 calories. It's more of like 800. You're losing all this weight, dude. I went from 210 to 195, and dude, just throughout the summer. That was like 3 months. But I don't know. It was crazy. But I appreciate you guys and for having me on. And
thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude, you guys are freaking awesome, and we'll stay in contact. And then
heck yeah,
I'll shoot over those 2 shirts to you guys. Send me an address. Just text me and then send me an address that I can shoot that over. I'll have my guy create sub. I'll have him shoot over one of these. What's your guys' favorite color?
That white looks kind of fire, dude.
Like the white?
It looks kind of fire. Yeah, I'll probably take the white.
Black, whatever you got, man.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever you guys want. Let me know. Shoot, we go the whole rainbow. Yeah, dude, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I could never. How long has it been? Almost 2 hours. I couldn't do this on any other podcast. I honestly couldn't. I could do this for another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I never get tired. So that just shows what type of skillship you guys have as well. And this is something that you guys can take off. You can just literally just take off something that the baseball gods will look after you guys, right? So just keep pushing, and when you're gonna get to those points where it's like, dude, this sucks. Like, I'm not getting any growth. That's gonna happen. Every single person, every single podcast has dealt with that. They had to push through it. You're gonna deal with adversity, and just keep pushing it, dude. That's something I wish I did with my podcast, because they probably would have been successful. But just keep pushing it, and then maybe the day in a life would be pretty sick too.
I wrote that down.
You wrote that down? Good. So I'll send over. I have some pro guys. If you guys want to interview some pro guys, if you guys already have, I'll shoot them over to you guys.
Anyone and everyone.
Perfect. I'll shoot them over.
Doesn't matter what experience. We're all for it.
Cool. And then I'll shoot you guys maybe when we're up in the Bay Area. Who do we play? We usually play Laney, but we didn't play Laney this year.
Yeah, I'm looking at your schedule. I think the closest one would be like, man, no, yeah, I don't know where. Where's Hartnell? I feel like that's kind of. Oh,
we just played them. They're. Was that Santa Cruz?
I think that they're down here, like not in the Bay Area, obviously, but they're. I don't think actually you guys don't play. You play. No, Sac is pretty kind of far too. But Sac, I think Sac is the closest one out of it.
That's probably the closest. Or you're gonna play in
Stockton.
Me.
You'll be in Stockton.
That's only 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, you'll be playing Santa Rosa at San Joaquin Delta. That's gonna be a good game.
Dude, if you guys want to go to a game, let me know and I'll hook you guys up on tickets and stuff.
Heck yeah.
And all that stuff. Let me know. Like shoot me a list. I'll hook you guys up. I have some stickers too. So I have stickers. I have shirts. And then that's about it for now. But I haven't sold them out yet. So I'll give you. It's all
exclusive.
All authentic,
Got
dude.
the
It's
exclusive.
Yeah, we'll rep it. We'll rep it on these podcasts. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on with us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Yeah.
Always,
have a good one.
You too, man.
Thank you.